The new mafia, which a lot of people, I'm one of them, the new mafia, Silicon Valley, the WEF, the military industrial complex. Well, look at this story. Mark Zuckerberg says Facebook of the future will be powered by telepathic thoughts. Facebook users, and this is according to him, Facebook users in the future will share telepathic thoughts and feelings to each other, Mark Zuckerberg claims. You're going to just be able to capture a thought, what you're thinking or feeling in kind of its ideal and perfect form in your head, and be able to share that with the world in a format they can get that. He called on people to think less in nations, but as a citizen of a global community using innovations and technology for progress. This sounds like exactly what every person who was deemed a conspiracy theorist. Here it is. Here's the head of Silicon Valley, the head of Facebook, Instagram, the billionaire himself, Mark Zuckerberg, saying, hey, don't think of, just like, you remember that movie, Network, where Ned Beatty gives that speech where he says, there are no countries, there are only companies in the international transfer of dollars, and you have upset the natural order of the transfer of dollars, and you must atone. That's what he's saying right there. He's giving the Ned Beatty speech. He's saying there are no countries, there are only companies.
You have meddled with the tidal forces of nature, Mr. Neal, and you must atone. You get up there on your little bitty 18-inch screen and you talk about nations and borders and peoples. There are no nations. There are no borders. There are no peoples. There are only, and that's actually the globalist speech. I've actually been in boardrooms similar to that, and those are off-record meetings when they were trying to get me to join News Corps and trying to get me 15 years ago to go to Fox and meetings like, listen, this is all over. It's a corporate global system, Alex. You'll have more in effect joining us. Come work with us. Henry Kissinger had the head of his Kissinger group one time in front of my producer. And this wasn't off record, so I've told the story. Say, come to New York. We want you to work for us. You can lead the liberty movement, but that's how you'll have a seat at the table. So they go around and buy people up like they just buy up baseball cards. But go back to Zuckerberg. He's literally saying, we're going to read your mind. Facebook's going to read your mind. Well, that's super creepy. Well, how are you going to read our mind? Again, but he also put 24 billion or whatever it was into the metaverse, which was a hellscape. So, but it shows you where they want to take us. They don't want just the Internet of Things. They want us. They want our minds. They want our bodies.
You can order pizza with your mind. Did you see that in 60 Minutes?
Yes, you can order.
That idiot, the one guy, the guy was like, did you just order pizza with your mind? Like he couldn't believe.
It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix. Yeah. It's the Matrix. You're going to be in a pod. And they have patents now for beds you lay in, and the heat from your body powers the computers.
Wow, that's very Matrix-like. That's unbelievable.
Originally the Matrix, it wasn't supposed to be batteries because humans are shitty batteries. It was supposed to be they were hooked up as a neural network for the computer, but the dipshit producer said, no one's going to get that. Say they're batteries.
Oh, really?
And so that idiocy of it being batteries, it was originally something much like, not too smart, just a good thing. That battery thing scientifically doesn't hold up at all because a dumb fuck producer said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's true. And so let me add a caveat. There is a Wired magazine article came out about 12 years ago. It was talking about Eric Schmidt and the founding with In-Q-Tel and the CIA and the NSA, who already had the search engine system where they would grab all the data and emails and internet traffic and phone calls and create word messages, and then if they wanted to search what we were saying, Google was the NSA search engine for a program called Echelon. This is all declassified. And so Google at their first meeting, when the Pentagon signed on, said, we're going to create the first AI, but it's going to be a cybernetic AI where you're a neural network and where we get billions of people in live time dialed into us, and then we'll be able to send messages back and stimuli to control them as the original inventors of the internet in an ARPA-DARPA program in 1960 where a Pentagon psychiatrist, looked this up, created the intergalactic communication system. It was on paper and said there would be big TVs everywhere that gave you messages. You would carry a handheld computer that would track everything you did, and daily you download it into the system. It was all theoretical, and that they would then use the intergalactic communication system to program humanity. So this is an original theoretical plan that they developed the theoretic blueprint for in 1960. Look it up. You can't make this up. And that's what Google is today. And it is artificially intelligent because it's a computer interfacing with us, and it is AI. But the secret is AI is us. That's why when you see AI art, it's just throwing what we've done, plagiarizing our writing, our videos, our photos, our poetry. And we go, this is beautiful because it's narcissistic. We're looking at ourselves in the pool of water.
Representation. That's stupid shit. Yeah. I always thought Twitter seemed like a big crazy brain. When you look at the whole thing, I'm like, oh, how do we know Twitter's not already alive?
No, that's the secret. Elon Musk is using it to program his AI Grok. And so they took everybody else off the internet because Google's training its system and didn't want anybody like us on there. I've been told this by high-level people, leave it at that. And so, yes, Musk actually bought Twitter to promote his stuff and politically be involved, but the real reason is to program his AI.
So here's something that's even creepier. So Mark Zuckerberg says that this is going to happen in the future.
It's here.
Well, here's the WEF.
This is one
telling you that it's already here. So this is about a maybe a 3-minute video, and watch what they have to say. This is kind of mind blowing.
Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance bonus. When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
What do you think? Is it a future you're ready for? You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived.
Yeah. When I saw this, it was 6 months old. Like at the end of Watchmen. We did our plan a half hour ago.
Yeah. So it's here, Alex. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of this, right? That this video exists and that
Jimmy, I'm aware that they want to turn all the workspaces into giant re-education camps. And this is MK Ultra being externalized to the public. I had not seen this clip showing how much evil stuff the WEF puts out, how they just normalize you're going to eat bugs, you're going to drink sewage water, which LA's now doing. You're going to live in a 250 square foot 5G oven apartment, coffin apartment. I know you think Alex Jones would have seen this. I had not seen this. I'm like literally yelling at my producer. You know, I turned my mic off saying, get this, get this, get this. And that shows why you're important. We're all important because this assault is so huge. And notice what she said. In Star Trek, when the Borg cube arrives, they say, resistance is futile, you will be assimilated. And it's always a woman they hire. They admit in their documents, so it's less threatening. A pretty woman.
Siri voice.
Hey, yeah, don't be scared. It's already here. Don't be scared. So, sorry, Jimmy. You guys are so good, though. That's why I'm so excited to be on here.
Alex, so when I first saw that, it freaked me out because it had about 600 views. That's it. I had about 600 views.
Yeah.
And I watched it 3 times because I couldn't understand if she was for or against this. I noticed the guy in the back giggling like while she's saying that. But if you look her up, it's called Brain Transparency. I still can't tell if she's for or against it. It seems to be
she's for it.
She goes, well, it's here, so we have to have this discussion. It's a discussion we're going to have to have. We're going to have that. It's here already.
But she certainly doesn't look upset by it or scared about it. She's all
it's
giggles.
Here, Jimmy.
It's here.
But you asked me, have I seen the clip? No, but I do know about the company and I do know about her. So let me tell you the rest of the story. I'm sure you've seen this clip. 6 years ago on national French TV, he also speaks French, like any good supervillain, and German. Klaus Schwab is on national TV and he says, first, in French, the chips will all be in your clothing to buy and sell. Then they will be in your hand. Then they will be in your brain. And he said this in a bunch of different, some compositing, like 5-6 interviews he's done. And he says, soon to be part of society, you will all have brain chips and we will all think and we will all know what we are all thinking. But of course, that'll all be hacked and controlled and garbage. Imagine the schizophrenic, horrible world where people know what you're thinking or the thing's programmed because your brain's always thinking every subconscious and unconscious is thinking of every scenario, every view. You may be having your baby, washing him in the bathtub. You love him, you protect him, but your mind's thinking, what if I drop them, they'll drown? That could be interpreted, you thought about drowning your baby. So the truth is the brain's looking at every aspect all the time at the subconscious and unconscious level. And so this thing is all fraud. It's all quackery. It's all AI's real power is convincing you that it's better than you, so you hand your authority. Vivek Ramaswamy said something 2 weeks ago that was so smart that I've said in other ways that I haven't heard anybody else point out. He talked about tennis when AI first came out 2 decades ago. They first put AI in to see if a ball was out. And they found it was way worse than humans calling it. But everybody stopped arguing because they thought, oh, it's a machine, it's better than us. We have to stop handing our authority over to this and just deciding, well, a master computer, Klaus Schwab says this too, under a technocracy, will allot what I get and tell me what job I have. They have cartoons shown in British UK schools a decade ago. It's called Plandopolis, that shows the future. And it says, we track your brain waves. There's like 5 parts to it. You eat bugs. You're told what you'll be. No one's allowed to have a car. You only get meat once a year. You're only allowed to travel once a year, but it's wonderful and it's good. You watch it as an adult that grew up in some semblance of freedom, and you think this is dystopic garbage, but this is being shown to 7th and 8th grade students in the UK called Plandopolis. It's on YouTube, and you watch it, you think it's a joke. But for an unconscious person who just knows you get a bonus, that's the message. You get a bonus when your boss reads your brainwaves. And of course, you don't get to read your boss's brainwaves. So they're also creating a class system.
Yes.
So tell me what you think of this article. It says Obama-Biden administration legalized neurological surveillance after Trump's election. So in 2016, the U.S. federal government enacted another law to legalize the National Neurological Condition Surveillance System. Now, neurological, that I think of brain when I hear them use that term.
So for health, right?
So the National Brain Condition Surveillance System is how I read that sentence.
Yeah.
So the
National Mind Control System.
Yeah. Neurological conditions includes those of the human brain. The 2016 law is partially provided as follows. It's called the Surveillance of Neurological Diseases. It says, in general, the Secretary of the Human Health Services, acting through the Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and in coordination with other agencies as the Secretary determines, shall, as appropriate, enhance and expand infrastructure and activities to track the epidemiology of neurological diseases and incorporate information obtained through such activities into an integrated surveillance system, which may consist of or include a registry to be known as the National Brain Condition Surveillance System.
Wow.
The National and that there it is.
There's the Trojan horse. Your brain health.
What did I just say? 15 minutes ago before we brought this up? For new viewers, I swear this sounds insane. It's not. It's called the Intergalactic Communications Network or System. That's what they said in 60. They said, we don't have the computers yet, 1960. But they said, we're going to have all these computers that surveil you, and then if somebody's heart rate goes up, we'll know and we'll send police to their house. That's one of the things they put in the paper. So yeah, this is not the Internet of Things. This is the Internet of mind control, and that's what they're all rolling out right now. So they're all given a script, and they're told, whether it's Zuckerberg or her or Klaus Schwab or Bill Gates, they're all in this big combine. They're all in this mind control, scientific, mad scientist cult, and they're all told, okay, now it's time to roll out the next phase, and this is going on right now. They have the UN treaty, the latest draft, takes control of our national medical responses to any new disease, allows them to arrest or round up or take anybody they want away. Anybody that gets in the way of the lockdown and public safety can also be disappeared, and the UN sets the policy. Who created the UN? The military-industrial complex at the end of World War II to establish the world government.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.